To get this background image, the size and location that we wanted, we used several background properties, right? Background hyphen properties. Well, there is a combined background property that we can put all of these together. If we go to the W3 Schools CSS background property, we see this property that has lots of values. And these are really the values that we've been using, but they're just combined. So it's background with hyphen nothing, and it combines lots of these together. So there's a background color, there's the background image, there's the background repeat, there's the background attachment, background position. So there we have a variety of properties all in one property. And it's a shorthand for all of these different values. And you don't have to include all of them, and they don't necessarily have to be in that same order, but it gives you a way to access them and to put them together. So if we use that, if we take all of these properties and we combine them, we can say, well, let's just say that this is the background property. So we do background : and we'll put our URL first. So that's our background image. And then we'll put our position. We want it to be bottom right. And notice how we're just putting spaces between these values. Now this one's a little bit different. This is the background size. And when you do a background size and a background position, then you need to separate them with the slash. All right, so there's our background position and our background size. Next we have our background repeat. So we put it there, separated with a space. And then we have our content box, which is our background origin, and we separate that with a space. Now when I save this, my editor's going to say, don't go past that 80 character limit, and so it will wrap that for me. Actually, it won't wrap it, it'll do a hard return, so that it keeps everything less than 80 characters wide. And there we have all those properties we put into a single property. So now if I save and we go back and refresh, nothing changes. Everything's the same. All the properties are there. We've just done it in a single property. This turns out to be convenient. If we go back and look at these properties again, we've actually looked at each one, used each one of these except the background clip. So let me show you what the background clip is. And this again has to do with that CSS box model: content box, padding box, border box, margin box. And so when we try this, this identifies where the background coverage is, how much of the area. And by default, it covers the border box. So there you see that background color all the way through the border box, and that's the default. But you can change it and say, oh, clip it, I only want the background to go as far as the content box, or I only want it to cover, oh, sorry, this one is the padding box. I want it to cover the padding box, right? That it's the content and the padding, or it can be the content box. So you get to choose what the clip is. Now, notice that the default for the background clip is the border box. So it's under the border. If you have a solid border, you won't see that. But it's not the same as the default for the background origin. Remember, the background origin, the default was the padding box. So when we positioned it in the top right, top left, bottom left, the origin, then it just went up against the padding. It didn't go underneath the border box. So that would be the default for the origin is the padding box. The default for the background clip is the border box. So those are the background properties, and we'll use them. And for now, we'll be using them in this combined background property.